This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal. Today is Tuesday, November 29th, 2015. This rant is in regards to Dr. Paul Krugman's article in the New York Times, Friday, November 25th, 2016. Sorry, it's a little late. First thing, happy birthday to Mary and John. I need to get that out of the way, and let's really pray, hope for the best for Miriam. The title of Dr. Krugman's article is Populism Perplex. So I'm perplexed. We are very perplexed that Hillary should have won. She didn't win. Let's accept that 100% completely. Right now she's at 2.2 million votes ahead of Trump in terms of the popular vote. She also had Comey, who did that stupid thing 10 days ahead of time, which could have cost her a lot also. And also remember that Trump won the white working class, or the whites without college, by a lot, and that he won it in critical counties, in critical states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, which basically cost Hillary the election. So the question is about all of this: what can the Democrats do to get that white working class, those white without college degrees, back into the Democratic fold? And Dr. Krugman points out, and I wholeheartedly agree, at least right now, not much. And the reason for this is, if we just take a look at the issues, well, number one, the issues were never even discussed in this election. Barely caught any issues were discussed. A very nominal amount. It was all about personalities. So there was a nominal discussion of the issues, and then when the issues were discussed, let's just say that the Democrats consistently proposed better policies for whites without college. But they didn't get dick. So why is that? Dr. Krugman brings us to Clay County, Kentucky. Big article in the Times about the hardest place in the United States to live. Clay County, Kentucky, from about 1913. You can look it up. But in this year, 2016, Clay County went from the beginning of Obamacare until the time of the election, went from 27% uninsured down to 10% uninsured. But at the same time, Clay County voted for Trump 87% to whatever, right? And you could say a lot of things. Number one, Trump said, I'm going to bring the coal jobs back. He also pointed out in other places he's going to bring manufacturing back. And of course, here's the thing. You know, I know, we all know, coal jobs are not coming back. Coal peaked in terms of employment 1979. Also at that time, after that, we had a lot of the strip mining where they blew off the top of the mountains and then they got their coal that way. The economies of scale are such, we're not going to be using as much coal. Fracking is going against coal. Everything is going against coal. Renewables are going against coal. These jobs are not coming back. And of course, people in that area should know that. They shouldn't be voting for Trump knowing that he says he's going to bring the coal jobs back when they're not coming back. Manufacturing jobs aren't coming back. At the same time, Hillary was advocating policies. Of course, policies weren't even brought up. The issues weren't brought up, where she talked about consistently increasing the minimum wage, increasing health care, meaning expanding upon Obamacare, increasing job training. She even specifically talked about Appalachia, and the need for retraining and to bring that area back to pristine condition if that can be done. Increase in terms of hunting, increase in terms of guides going out there, canoeing, all of that type of stuff. Is that going to bring all the jobs back? Probably not, but it has to do with doing something for it. At the same time, she also talked about increasing the service jobs that would be in there. So what is really going on here? Because they didn't give a shit about that at all. All of these things that could have helped them in terms of Hillary, they voted against. And is it that identity politics? And, is it? Yes, it is. It isn't what Bernie Sanders is saying. Oh, we have to increase the minimum wage. We have to increase job training. We have to do the free college tuition. That's all would be great. But people aren't paying attention to that. They're paying attention to the identity politics. And the identity politics is basically that for the last 40 years, the GOP, has had continued outrages against people of color. So what was it that Ronald Reagan started saying back in 1975, 1976? Remember, he ran for president in 76 against Gerald Ford, almost won. His big thing is, what are the 9 worst words that a person can ever hear in the United States? I'm from the government and I'm here to help. So incredible disdain for government. Then we had the welfare queens, contrived, made up. So the Republican Party has, for the last 40 years, had these continued outrages about people of color, spoken directly to white people who they know will listen to it and feel outraged about it, and therefore they'll get their vote. When at the same time, those same Republicans don't give a rat's ass about those people. They don't care. They don't have any policies to help poor people. And at the same time, they feel that they're morally inadequate, and they publish all kinds of articles about that. But they use a lot of that just to talk about disdain for people of color. So the big question is what can the Democrats do, in essence, to get that white without college vote back? It has to have a reassessment of what went wrong and whether or not they can actually even come back. Do they need to stay with what they were at? Because they did get 2 million more votes, but they lost them in those critical areas. I think that altogether in several counties which went Trump's way, that there was, or the states that went Trump's way, it was less than 100,000 votes in all of those states that allowed Trump to be the victor, so to speak. So the Democrats have a lot to do in terms of understanding how to get that white without college vote back. I'd be willing to go there because I know I can talk to them, but it has to be a concerted effort over a long period of time, because it's a whole mentality that has to be gotten, that the Democrats are for everyone. They're not just for people of color.